Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roll with Advantage. Welcome to Chapter 2 of the campaign, Buried Time. Very happy to be here. All of us are here again. All of our beautiful faces is shown for your entertainment. But with that, Mark, take it away.
Welcome once again to the campaign in which 5 people wander the desert in hopes of saving a bug. We had a real good time last week. I'm excited to get right back into it. A lot of fun with these characters. Already feels like a real party. And now that the prologue is over and y'all are in the desert, I'm very excited to kind of hand some pieces of the story to the 5 of you and just see what happens. I know a lot less about how this one's going to go than I did the first one, and that's very exciting. Meanwhile, though, before we get started, as the grandfather of Roll with Advantage, Joseph Conkle, once said, I make my players do the summary so that they're fucking useful. So, who is on summary?
I did say that, yeah.
You did say that, for one, and you are my grandfather. But who is on summary this week?
I am. I jumped the line and wished to go
eager
first.
To do it.
I appreciate you.
I got you, John.
All right. So go ahead and take it away, and then we will just go ahead and get right into it.
So TLDR version is a band of heroes assembles on a quest given by an ancient beetle to release it from a curse before a mad sorcerer can convince its council to sell the city to him. TLDR version. You can now stop watching the episode. But in the full version of things, you can just leave. This is an excerpt from the Journal of Harrow Featherblossom. The heat of blistering sun makes the mind want to distract itself from the reflections of the events that have led us to this moment. We, a party of protectors, were sent on a quest from creatures nearly a millennium old, Allophons. We met in a chance encounter on market day, protecting the people and city we have all grown to love. First, my friend Davuk, a kind bugbear ranger whose swarm found an ancient clue to a civilization lost to time that revealed a curse on our beloved beetle. Then there's Callum, a young rogue whose luck found him in the pits of the wounds of the beetle that it has collected, removing infections from the wall of their shell. He profited from finding a scale that seemed to manifest inside a wound, which he would later find was related to Davuk's findings. Through the knowledge of the wise mage Elias, a brother of the Order of Preservation, we learned more about how this all came to play, that a binding curse was stricken upon Allophons, and their longevity of life was unnatural. I cannot leave out the final member of our troop, the solid and brave Anzi, a rider of the Beetle Runner Division, whose aid we came to in defending supplies from being lifted by the crate robbers. She has now come to our aid in this adventure. Finally, there's me, who you know because it's you, the person writing this, an esteemed member of the Circle of Druids who communes with Allophons and are sworn to his protection and livelihood. The leader of the Druids, my dear friend, is no other than my friend Nira, a stoic soul who never allows her emotions to motivate her actions. There's more I could learn from her on that. She allowed us to commune with Allophons and learned of Empress Kalunapet's binding curse. They also showed us 5 cryptic images, visions really, that I am still trying with little success to translate. Us heroes were then sent to find the Great Burrow, the three kin and find someone called No One. Before this, we learned of the market from the liar Afir of the other threats to Oliphants. A man named Mosa Shadid, a lucrative trader who cares none for Oliphants and would instead purchase him for his resources and make make himself and the council rich. I do not trust this man for these notions and the threats he bestows upon us before we flew from the great beetle in haste. I'm sure this is not the last we have seen of him, and I genuinely hope we can make things right before it is too late. Like a baby bird who falls from a nest, we need to find the courage to open our wings and fly. Till next time, Harrow.
All right. So, with that summary done, let's go ahead and just get right into Chapter 2 here. Where we left off, all of you were plummeting from the beetle, just escaping Moses' grasp. He watched you patting out flames from Anzi's smite, blood trickling down his collar from Callum's blade, and these hundreds of clockwork swarm constructs disappearing underneath his cloak as he watched all of you make your escape. But he was convinced that there was little he really needed to do. The desert would have its own way of making sure that you didn't get back. But we're not going to pick up right there. We're going to pick up a couple of hours later. As you may remember, you escaped in the dead of night because your ritual with Alifaz took a while, and you ended up waking up after the sun had set. Now, hardly a soul around, but you're still within some distance of nature and civilization that you can hear. And luckily you have Davuk with you, who not only knows the desert very well, but knows this particular area quite well. Just on the borders of the civilized lands of Cartasia and the vast expanse. So, we're going to go ahead and join again with the sounds of the night, the wind, and the distant creatures in the Cartesian expanse at night as we come back into focus on our 5 heroes. As I said, it's already been a couple of hours. You ran until you were confident you were a safe distance away from Alifaz, seeing the beetle just grow smaller and smaller in the horizon, and eventually disappearing as you descended down a large chasm. And now, you're able to set up camp. Something that's not challenging for the 5 of you in this early leg of the journey. Get a fire ready, dig a burrow for resources, able to get yourselves out of the wind, set up mild shelters. And with the supplies that the druids gave you right before you headed out, as of right now, food and shelter is not really a concern. It's not been long enough, nor is the climate hardship. As we zoom back in, a few of you are getting the fire going, a few of you are watching out, seeing if anybody is following, or if there's anything you should be on the lookout for. And Harrow, just as you finish your journal entry, that is where we will go ahead and open up. So, all 5 of you, my hands are off the reins. This is your first night of camping together as a party. How does that happen? What priorities are made? How do you converse? That is all up to you. All you know is that when morning comes and you deconstruct your camp, you need to first go about finding water. And after that, you need to go about finding whatever the great burrow is, wherever the Thrycreen might be, and whatever this no one person is. But other than that, I leave it to you. How does the first night of this party look?
Yeah, I think that Callum, as soon as we get to the spot where people seem to be looking around for the supplies or setting up their camping materials, I think Callum will kind of look around and be like, all right, well, that was an exhausting day, but great job, everybody. You all did great. Very proud of all of you. I am going to go to bed, though. Good night. And Callum is going to find a rock, and he's just going to kind of pull a blanket out of his pack, and he's just going to lean up against the rock, and he's just going to start heading to sleep, unless anybody stops him.
As much as I would like you to go ahead and sleep on a rock, you don't have to if you do not want to. I do have magic for this.
Okay.
If you want the experience of sleeping in the desert, you definitely can.
Oh, no. Please, go for it. Whatever your magic solution is.
Of course. Don't mind me. We can also set up a fire and everything inside. Just give me 10 minutes.
And Elias will start casting Liamon's tiny hut.
Mm.
Gotcha.
So
You can go ahead
he's
and drop
going-
the text in the chat just to refresh everybody, but I know what that one is.
Yep. Oh wait. Yep. There we go.
Thank you.
So he's going to take a twig or a stick that he has, or finds a stick and break it into small little pieces and kind of map out with little spikes in the ground. He's going to draw a circle around it, and in the center he's going to open his book, draw a rune, and then as he draws the rune, he smacks the ground, and then a opaque bubble that can fit all of us inside that will blend into our surroundings will appear.
Well, this is even better. Thank you.
You know, you could have played a prank on him and he could have slept outside and all of us could have been in this tent.
Yes, I'm not very good at pranks.
You'll learn a few.
Next time, yes, of course, next time. I just figured, probably don't want to sleep outside.
No. But if we are all inside and Harrow will pull the dice out of his pocket, I think we have a game to play.
Oh,
And
do
I'll look
we?
at Callum. Oh, I think we do. And from what I hear, you're a bit of a gambling.
Well, I don't know. We're in a new and different place, but if you're willing to gamble, I think I could maybe spare a few coins. I don't know, though. I've been on a bit of a losing streak, if I'm going to confess.
Well, I'm an easy win. So if you want to build up your confidence, please try your hand. And he'll start rolling a coin between his fingertips back and forth.
While you two are gambling, I'm going to do another thing. Don't mind me.
After I cast Liamon's tiny hut, I'm going to also, as a ritual, cast alarm around the entirety of the hut.
Okay, perfect. You are all now inside a ringing bell.
Hell yeah.
Low fortress.
Nice. You're invisible as well. So, at some point in the night, a coyote might just accidentally walk by
fine.
and just, yep. But at least, at least you're going to be very safe.
Just as
That's
a
how we get
question-
lunch.
Just as a question, are we also still using the part that says inside of the bubble is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather?
Yep. Sure.
No, I understand that there's the
Haven't you
protections, but would we still want to have perhaps at least lookouts during the night?
I would probably assume so. Everyone can come inside. You can even see outside. You do not have to step out. And nothing can come inside if I do not allow it.
I think there's things not coming inside, but there's also a matter of what's going to be around us when we leave as well.
Yes,
There's
well,
anything that might have been traveling past us during the night as well.
I agree. I think that at least they won't be able to see us, so we'll get a drop on whatever is sitting outside of the bubble.
Hopefully nothing will be sitting outside, but I would rather be safe than not.
Agree.
Eliza's just gonna go in and start reading. That's all.
Can you all hear me now? Oh, I think it's
Yes.
working.
Yes.
So Devuk, once this dome appears, he kind of goes around testing it, you know, making sure it's secure. And once he's kind of been satisfied, he comes and sits around awaiting the game of dice.
Well, Elias, this is very kind of you to spend your resources on us. Good start to a wonderful relationship, right? How about
much
some
so.
ale? And he will go through his sack and put ale onto a table, throw out the dice. If we are going to have weird visions with beetles and fight men that pull pocket-sized amalgamations of toys and try to kill us with it, we might as well get on good terms with one another.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
I have a wager as far as playing the game of dice. If you fail or lose to another person, not only do you lose a little bit of coin, you have to tell a secret about yourself.
Yeah, sure.
If you win, you have to tell everyone a good thing about yourself. So we learn the bad and the good all together.
I'm just curious from a logistic standpoint, what about the ones that do not play?
You can be honest with us if you want. Feel free to share.
But we do not have to.
Are you
I would
concerned
never-
about playing?
I've never played this, and I am concerned about revealing secrets.
Does it have to do with the mask? Is that a secret you're concerned about revealing?
Callum.
What? It's a
No,
cool
that is-
mask. The
Thank you.
thing is, I think it's awesome.
I appreciate it. This was made by the artificers there. No, this is not a secret. I have meddled with arcane magic most all of my life when I could. And
Oof,
I have
yeah.
tried to create things that were out of the ordinary, things that people did not know how to create. And well, sometimes those backfire. Science is a dangerous job.
He's gonna lean over to the Vuk when Elias finishes that, and he says, "You see, that's why I'm never gonna mess around with magic."
Says the arcane trickster. It's funny.
All right, well, let's roll. So which do you what games do you play? Tarkarian Chance, Cartesian Two-Step. Like, what's your thing?
Liar's dice, mainly.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah. Bit old school for me, but I'm fine with that.
Old school. Well, I am of my years.
All right. Well, let's go for it.
Very well. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Is anyone else playing, or is it just Callum and I?
I'll play, but I will pass on the ale.
Very well.
Suppose I'll also play a hand or two.
Can I watch?
I do not see
To
why
watch a few
not.
rounds to learn. If it is how to play the game that is your problem, then it should be easy enough to pick up.
I must play after I watch a couple of rounds.
I think it'd be a good thing to do.
Is this usually
Right,
how
that
it
this is a
works?
good way to. It's a good way to get to know each other. can't learn about each other from that book of yours.
It is true.
I'm curious what we all know of each other before we even start this game. What rumors have we all heard about one another?
I've heard you're a druid.
We met at the Druidic Circle.
It's what I know.
Excellent.
Is a good answer.
He is very observant, as what I have learned from him.
What can I say? You have to be observant to travel the desert like this.
It's gonna swat some flies and.
I'm curious those flies don't set off the alarm.
Strange, there shouldn't be any flies in here.
Did you bring them with
They
you,
just followed
Davuk?
Davuk, yeah.
I think they were in here when I casted this spell.
If you haven't noticed, I have a bug problem.
And then just his glowing swarm will reveal itself.
That is very fascinating, and I have questions, but I'll have to write them down first so I actually ask the right ones.
I'll be sharing secrets. You gotta play the game though.
You don't see him smile, but you do see his cheeks raise up underneath the mask.
I'll watch a couple rounds.
Very well.
Alright.
So, to be clear, I will not be running this game. So, you proposed Liar's Dice. I assume either you or Joe knows how to play.
It's the
We
one
can
they
do a
play
modified.
in the Pirates of the Caribbean film where they bet the years they can
Ooh.
spend on the ship.
I love this game.
Yeah, that's
You're a
like
liar and a thief, Mr. Jones. Yeah, that one.
Terrible.
It's too good.
Yeah, I've always known Joe can do the that Davy
voice.
Jones.
It's my favorite
Pops.
impression. It's one of my only good ones.
Oh man. But yeah, I'm kind of hands off here, so go ahead and play a game of Liar's Dice. Whoever wants to lead it.
5d6, right?
Yeah. I need another D6 though. I only have 4 in my tray.
We actually haven't shit.
I know how to play this game. I
Wait,
won
how
it
many
in my pirate
D6s?
campaign. 5.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking oh, okay.
Why you guys at 1?
I don't know. Joe's picture.
I can try to explain the rules quickly.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm not gonna know what the fuck I'm doing, so.
I have
So
no
everyone
idea.
rolls dice. Everyone rolls 5d6 underneath the cup. Well, in the game.
Yeah.
And then the first one starts with a bet, and you say maybe there's 5 5s between all of the dice. You keep going. You can either say a higher number with less amount. So if I say 5 5s, you can say 3 6s. You cannot say a lower number with less amount than someone else. So if I say 5 5s, you can't say 4 4s. You have to say either 5 4s or 6 4s.
That's the total
So-
amount, right?
Yeah, the face. Yeah. So if I say 5 5s and everyone, so say I say 10 5s, it gets to the next person's turn. If they call me a liar, everyone has to show their dice, and if there is not 10 5s between all of us, then I'm a liar and I'm out of the game.
Well, I'm
And it
very
goes
confused.
clockwise. It's a lot. It's easier to do a practice run.
Let's not even do a practice run. Let's just do it and
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Let's just do it, and then whoever loses, just say a thing.
Also, ones count towards the total.
I'm going to be rolling digitally, so surprisingly, I do not have dice around me, especially not 5d6s.
So
Obviously,
I'll
you've
just roll that little
Wizard.
drop down. Make sure you do self roll.
All right. Well, Let's see how this goes. I accidentally flinged one of my dice halfway across the room, so I gotta find another d6 in my little pouch here. Oops.
Yeah, it's funny because like Anzi's actually proficient with dice, and so theoretically, she shouldn't be bad at this. But me, no idea what the shit I'm doing.
I was proud to have a character that was proficient in coin flipping. I thought that was
Fish
so
tart.
funny. Fish tart.
All right. Well, let's roll the dice, see what happens. And he'll put his dice in his little cup. And, all right. Can't look at it though. Callum's he's gonna sense his cup. He's gonna feel it, and he's gonna say, you know what? I think, 3 6s.
Nice.
Callum chooses not to look at his dice.
4 6s.
You can't look at your dice. Is that part of the rules?
You can
No,
look at your
you
dice.
can. Callum's
Okay.
just
Callum's
being
being
saucy.
sick. Okay.
All right, so
So
Callum,
4 6s.
3 6s, Harrow 4 6s.
Anzi.
Oh.
Or
Five
It has to be
sixes.
sixes? Okay, it has to be sixes. Cool. Do I have to raise it?
so
Oh,
it can either be
Okay.
6 6s, or you can say, so they said 5 6s, right? So you can say 6 5s or 6 4s, or you can say 6 6s. So you can say more in the amount but a lesser face value if you want, or you can raise the current face value.
Okay. We've got 6 5s.
All right, that was all 4 of you playing.
You just keep going until someone gets called a liar.
All right. Keep moving.
Callum will look at everybody. Still won't look at his dice. You know what? You know what I think? Down at the cups. 8 6s.
Liar. Filthy liar.
So aggressive.
Right. He's a liar, right?
Also, the next one in line is the only one who can call a liar. But
I do have to agree with my outrageously enthusiastic friend here. It's just like dwarfed in size, too. Just like trying to hold him down. Just Harrow's just like, just without standing up, he's just like, yeah, I do agree. I hate to call somebody I just met a liar, but I don't think you're telling the truth, Callum.
All right. Well, let's see him.
so what was it? What did everyone say? 8? Did you say 8 5s?
I said 8 6s.
8
8
6s.
6s.
To go around, I have 1.
Okay.
Oh no.
0.
0.
from Vuk, 0 from Anzi. Okay.
You might have lost there, buddy.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
way.
Callum has 5 6s.
Damn. So
Sixes
6.
then?
There are 6 6s.
Wait, how many
There's
ones
not
are
8.
across the board? Because those count towards the total.
Do they?
Yes,
get a one
they count towards the total.
0.
They're like ace cards.
0.
Damn.
Yeah.
0.
That means
Okay.
the clutch.
Oh, I think I understand now. Kind of. You play this all the time?
Well, I don't play this game too much because it's a bit of an old school game, but
Well, old school, new school, the rules are the rules. Callum, it would be so nice for you to hear a secret from you.
yeah, I guess I don't really talk about this too much. But when I was 3 or 4, I think. Yeah, my parents died in a fire, and I've been orphaned ever since. So that's kind of a big secret.
The liar.
Davuk, we're not playing the liar part of the. That was just for the dice. I do not believe that Callum is lying about his parents dying in a fire.
Oh my.
Nah,
I'm so sorry.
No,
Yeah,
Davuk, you
I
got me. You got
apologize.
no. I was lying. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lied, especially about something like that.
Wait, you were lying about your parents dying in a fire?
Yeah, obviously. Of course I was. No, I'm actually not very lucky, as we can tell from the game that we just played.
Insight check on Callum. His parents. Is he lying right now? Can I make one?
Pretty insight checking an orphan about his parents. It's so fucked.
No, I'm checking if he's lying. If he's lying about his parents dying in a fire, there's a difference.
Yeah, make an insight check.
I don't know. It sounded like the same thing, just said differently.
Dirty 20.
It's an orphan. Stop it.
All right. Callum, do you want to roll deception?
I choose to not say whether I did or did not roll deception. I'm gonna make that choice to not disclose that information. But as far as Elias can tell, it does seem like he was joking or lying about that. As far as Elias could tell.
Well, Davuk, you are very insightful.
Yeah, Davuk, that's crazy. Most of the time when
I'm a servant.
when I bat my eyelashes and say that, people just kind of bend over backwards, but not you.
People tend to shy away from inquiring further on tragedy.
Yeah.
The emotions tip them. When
Very true.
I left the spice trade, which my family was so lucrative in, they were confused about why. And I got involved with healing people and taking care of burn victims and other individuals that were needing of healing or just a kind hand. My parents kind of disowned me for it. Didn't believe that I was moving towards anything good because there was no money involved.
That's awesome. You are very good, but it seems like I'm out.
Here. I've won a round. I want to see what else Callum has in him. And he'll hand his dice to Callum. You can play another round, friend.
Sure.
I'll sit this one out with Elias.
Oh, I was actually going to see if I could join.
Ah, well, if he's joining, then we could just start a new round. We'd say that was practice.
I don't have a set of dice, though.
Interesting. Let me see what I have in my bag. He will shuffle through and pull out jars of all sorts of things, and then pull out a jar of dice. Here. The druids like to play games. I may have gotten them into gambling. Among other
Good
things.
secret.
Yes, and into psychedelics as well.
I figured that one.
Well, you saw the mixture. You ingested the mixture that I created.
We
and,
talked to the beetle.
You physically were there. Well, mentally. Astral projection. Something. Who knows? The mind is a weary thing. Here, have this set of dice.
Do we roll now?
We roll now. And because you're the newcomer, you can start us out.
Seven fives. Who's next?
I think that puts us with Callum.
Sure. 8 5s.
Um, correct me if I'm doing this wrong, but I will say 3 6s.
Yep, that works because it's a higher face value than the 5s.
No idea what the fuck our order is, by the way. I hope you know this.
I think you're next and then Davuk.
Shit.
No, I think it's
Oh.
different. Oh, okay, cool.
You're muted.
Yeah. No.
I think you said go ahead.
Okay. Well, I guess until you got that figured out, I will anyways. What'd you say? 3 6s?
Yes.
5 6s.
Now you're muted on Discord.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
There you
there you go.
Perfect. Weird glitch. Okay. What was just said? Sorry. I was...
5 6s.
6 6s.
Wait. Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Hmm. Seven 6s. Callum?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're a liar.
Okay. I have 2 1s, so that counts.
I have 2 6s.
I got 2 1s and I got a 6.
I have 2 1s and a 6.
Shit. A lot.
Unfortunately, Callum, I am not a liar. Hey, I did pretty good for my first time.
Well, unfortunately, because you falsified your conviction on that.
Yeah. Okay. My real name is Aldarius Mustafa. I am a spice traveler from the farthest regions of Odero, and I deal mostly in explicit drugs from the Gemstone Archipelago.
Mark, can I make an insight check to see if he's lying?
I think he is, but you can go right ahead.
I kind of get that too, but
We'll
I
see.
wanna play by the rules.
We'll see
here.
if he thinks I'm lying.
All right.
I will say, if that is a confession, when we do get back to the city, I might have to investigate further if you're truly
Oh, not
saying
anymore.
what you're saying.
Not anymore. No.
Of course.
No, yeah. I gave up that
Yeah.
life a long time ago.
The
Oh, I'm
artist
glad.
formerly known as Spice Rack. Yes.
Yes.
I've come across your name before.
Well,
First
that
off,
last name, that's the name of your little, what's he fucking thing, right? Rodin?
Yeah.
I can't remember its name. What is it? Jeroboa? Is that it? What is it?
It is a Jerboa. Yep.
Yeah, I know things. Yeah.
Evan, what'd you get?
oh, I must have done it to myself. 17.
Cool.
Are we rolling something? Sorry.
I did.
Tell him what you're gonna tell him.
As far as he can tell, Callum is telling the truth. The 27 on deception.
Why did you change your name? That sounds like an awesome profession.
Well, Davuk, I'm a wanted man. I've been wanted by the aristocracy in Odero for many, many, many years now. And if I were to go by my real name, well, they might track me down and find me. And so that's why I've been trying to lay low, working in the...
And you changed it.
Yeah, it's a good thing indeed. Yeah.
Should we worry about them finding you?
No.
Travels.
You see, I had a facial reconstructive surgery done, so I don't even look the same anymore. Yeah, it's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. You ever read the
Have all your
Tarkarian?
bases covered there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I used to look like there's a Tarkarian long form epic about this guy with a really big nose. I used to look like him. Yeah, not anymore. Look at me, like a small nose person.
Big.
Yeah, big. Yeah, real big.
That was a good one.
That was. It seems that your luck is against you tonight, Callum. Or would you prefer your old name?
No. I would not prefer my old name. You see, because remember, I'm a wanted man. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. All right. Well, looks like.
Secret is safe with me.
Oh, thank you, Divuk. I appreciate it. Looks like I am out though, so I guess I am the lucky one since no more secrets from me.
Looks
Are we
like you are
supposed
out.
to continue? Should we not start getting rests?
We may, or we can follow the rules of threes and play one more round.
Right,
It is
I'm
up to
pretty
you.
good.
You did quite well.
So,
If you wish, you can start us again.
five fives.
6 5s.
7 5s.
Or sixes.
Five sixes.
6 6s.
7 6s.
Eight sixes.
I'm very sorry, my friend, but I will have to call you a liar.
Dang it. Alright, what did everyone get?
Three ones and 1 6, so 4.
God damn. So what, that's 7, 8, 9.
Dang.
Wait, you said 8 6s though, right?
Yeah.
So you're a truther. There were at least 8 6s.
Arrow, did I win or what happened?
I think I lost.
Ah.
Oh, so he's a liar.
Unfortunately, in this instance, I am.
Unfortunately, indeed.
So that means that I must tell a secret?
Or
Because
whatever amalgamation of the truth that you like to tell, like our friend Callum did.
does not
I
need to
know.
be incriminating as well. I feel that should be stated earlier than not. In fact, I'd prefer it is not incriminating.
Oh, I have not done anything criminal in my entire life. Unfortunately, probably would be fun. Well, if you know me from the city, I am a teacher at the school for arcane, but that is not my main occupation. I am in a order of sorts of scientists and magicians, arcane users trying to figure out a new form of magic, something called chronology. It is the manipulation of time in layman's terms. We are trying to figure this out so that we could potentially use it on what's his name? Alafaz, to slow down his aging process and make the city live longer.
see.
May I ask, how far have you gotten in terms of progress?
For the size of Alefaz, not far. We have figured out how to manipulate time, if that is what you're asking. Small
But
bits.
the full way, you're not quite there.
No.
How to keep him.
No, but my order, as I have left it, they are still currently working on. It has come down to funding. I think at this point we do not have enough gold to help us in our research. Unfortunately.
That is unfortunate.
I will say at this point, Elias will say,
Here.
and Mark, if you'll let me, I'm gonna use my chronal shift, which allows things to be re-rolled. However, he's going to pick up a rock and throw it in mid-air, kind of take both of his hands and turn, and that rock will stop and come back to his hand.
Yeah, as if you get another chance at throwing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
A demonstration.
Quite the magic.
Interesting.
Remarkable.
It is something I've spent my entire life figuring out. But
Huh.
that is my secret.
Peculiar, but fascinating. I cannot harp on one person's passions, as it were. I hope you are able to do well with it. Regardless of how it goes against the natural order of things and my own beliefs.
Ah, yes, I do understand. We are not, if this gives any comfort, trying to stop the inevitable.
That does.
We have just thought and seen that there are so many people who live in the city. There are no means to move the city at this point, and doesn't seem there is. So until then, the Alefaz must live, or hundreds to thousands will die.
And that is something that we share as a common goal.
Yes, I do not wish to cheat death.
And no, we do not need any more liches in existence.
Although I would like to study one.
You and me both. I do wonder how they slow down decomposition, or how they're able to maintain the arcane. Something very odd. Like, I can turn into things, but they make me stronger, and I do not feel the pain the same way. Regardless of if I get injured to a point and pop back up, it's no wounds on myself. As long as I wasn't gravely damaged. And it makes me think that maybe there's something more to that. That ability to preserve life through alteration. Time may have a way of doing that as well.
I think it does. There are questions that I would like to ask both you and the Vuk. Along our travels, and you as well, Callum.
Does Callum react to him saying that he would like, because he's on the subject of talking about magic, and he says to Callum, you as well.
No, I don't think I don't think Callum reacts because if it's not clear already, he is not aware of his magical talents.
I think in this instance, because Elias saw what he saw, He is gauging whether or not, in this instance, Callum is aware when he asks the question.
No, Callum is too busy inspecting one of his dice. Why it wouldn't help him out when he needed it.
Well, anyways, thank you for including me in the game. I had quite fun. I'm going to do some reading before turning in for the night.
That sounds like a plan. I need to go for a walk, so I will be out,
Oh.
but we'll return shortly.
Oh, okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Does that mess with all of this?
No, you could step out if you want, and it's just whenever you step over my alarm, I will hear it.
Oh.
So
Is
how
that distracting? Or
about how long will you be outside? I do not want to be.
like, are you planning to go to sleep soon?
Right,
Like, I don't want to wake you up in the middle of the
Right.
sleep.
I would prefer not to be asleep when you set off my alarm. It would wake me up,
Ah, I see.
and I need my 8 hours.
Is it like an annoying alarm? It's enough to wake you up.
It's enough to wake me up. Yes.
Yes. Can you like switch it to a catchy tune that's a little bit more relaxing?
No, the whole point of the spell is to alarm me.
I see.
I'll stay up for another hour if that's okay.
Very well. I'm just gonna go inspect our area to make sure that we're safe.
Okay.
Very well. Au revoir. Enjoy
I'll
your
gladly take the
evenings.
first watch. Hopefully see you back as well.
Yes, if I make it back, I will be fine. It's been
I
a
should
while
hope
since
so.
I've been in this desert, and adventuring is something that's new to my old bones. So, see you all soon.
Davuk's gonna stretch with that being said and be like,
I could use a walk. I hate for something to happen to you. I know this part of the desert quite well.
he's gonna pick up his it's the Queen's Sanctuary, but it looks like a lantern. He's gonna attach it back and get up to walk.
So I would like to point out, I read this part of the spell. At the bottom, it says an audible alarm produces the sound of a handbell for 10 seconds within 60 feet. So both times,
Cool.
when you guys walk over it, there's a handbell going off, and he's,
Wait, what about like a swarm going over it?
Can we just like
It is
keep walking
anything-
back and forth?
yeah, it'll continue to go off. It's anything that passes through the barrier.
We're just throwing rocks over it, just digging it.
Oh, I forgot about this part of the spell.
He'll laugh.
Pop it onto him.
So, once they get past the alarm, one thing that Harrow was going to do was he was going to wild shape and fly, but once he sees Davuk's with him, he's going to stay on the ground and wild shape into something more appropriate. I'm just
Right.
looking at stats.
So, Harrow and Davuk stretching their legs, Anzi taking a watch inside the hut, Elias staying up to read a book, Callum inspecting some dice. I will go ahead and ask just kind of the party as a whole, how we would like to handle camping watches, if we want to use that as one-on-one roleplay time, or if we're mostly just doing perception checks. I'm okay with either. But if that is a vehicle that the party wants to use to be doing one-on-one conversations, then we can certainly make time for that.
I would like to say Callum won't do watches unless he's asked to do so. just because that's not something that he's ever had to do before. So Joe would like to participate in the watches in some way, shape, or form, but Callum won't unless somebody asks. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody wanted to do that. But Callum is just gonna head to sleep, and then I think I'm cool with using it for whatever people want. Some watches can just be perception checks, but others there might need to be conversations that need to happen.
Yeah. I'm cool with half and half as well, you know, like if it's early on, you know, we just role played for quite a bit as a group. If you feel like there's not too much to say and you just want to go ahead with stuff like that for now, that's cool. But yeah, just figured I would ask because different parties have different expectations with that kind of thing.
I think at this specific instance, Elias is going to wait for them to come back and then go to sleep. He's pretty confident in his hut and alarm to do his watch for him. So when they get back, he's just going to go to sleep and sleep the whole time.
All right, cool. So, while these two are out on the walk, Anzi can be taking watch, and then if Callum is bothered, he can go ahead and take a watch as well.
Yeah, I mean, I will say in Anzi's mind, like obviously, to the party, they're out, they're doing a walk, they're doing a little scout thing as well, you know. Elias is doing his study, so, you know, someone's gonna take second watch. It should be the person that's been, you know, resting the most in that period. And so I feel like she won't say anything, you know, she'll let Callum just go to bed, but he's definitely going to be the person that she'll wake for a second watch.
Okay. So, Anzi, go ahead and roll a perception check for me on the first watch, and then we will go ahead and pop outside the dome in case the two of you want to do anything.
Huh. Let's hope the alarm's good.
Woo!
All
It's
right.
good if they're within 30 feet of us.
So, Anzi, it's big out here.
She's human. It's dark. Like she can't see shit.
Yeah, it's dark. You know, you're a human. You just got normal eyes. As fucking the hills go on for a really long time. And you're so used to just having sort of like that horizon view on top of Alifaz, or that very close and immediate view down by the legs. The darkness veils the horizon right now. You're not sure if it goes on for a few hundred feet or several miles. So you don't see shit. To drop all poetic language, you don't see shit. We will determine later via Elias's alarms if you missed something.
Sounds spam.
But Harrow and Davuk, the Beast Boys of the squad, are out right now taking a walk. You said you turned into a more appropriate land animal. What does that mean?
Saber-tooth tiger.
All right.
Wow, that's sick.
And
Appropriate?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Badass. Yeah.
Yeah, just playing in the sand and whatnot, but like moving more swiftly than he would as a short halfling. So speed's increased.
And
So-
you go ahead.
Is there like a communication barrier now that you're in a?
Oh, yeah, there would be, unfortunately. So I think like after like 20 minutes of like doing a full perimeter and just seeing, he'll eventually just turn back into like halfling form when he's had his steps go through. And he'll just be staring up at the stars as he's just looking at this expanse.
Yeah, and during that time that you were in your form, I think Davuk, he has his hood up by this point. and his swarm is kind of more vibrant out in the desert, so it's more greens and blues, lightning bug type of things going around, and especially hovering around plants and stuff. It's almost like he's walking the dog, except it's his swarm. So, just kind of in silence and observing the terrain. So, and his swarm's probably continuing to do that by the time you're out of your form.
And he'll observe them as they're like flying around, having that brief familiarity with them, and checking in and making sure their health is good. That the swarm itself in its whole seems to be unaffected by the transgressions that happened in that tunnel. And he'll pull out like a Gandalf-sized pipe, and he'll just like walk around with Davuk, bringing up conversation only when Davuk does.
Right? With that,
Oh, I've been thinking. Elias. He mentioned slowing the aging of Alifaz. My swarm. They always need a queen, and my queen.
he's going to hold up the lantern.
She will die someday. Wouldn't it be easier to just prolong her life instead of all of us rangers hunting for a new queen? Is that unnatural?
It is. I think there is a danger in an individual staying in one position for too long. You need new ideas and perspectives. When you're a younger ranger and traveling through the desert and were searching for the queen of your swarm, was it not invigorating? In this time that you've had your swarm, there are perks to it, but the process, the cycle of life itself needs to be a cycle. It can't be a linear passage that just continues on and on and on, like an echo through the massive expanse of this desert, or the emptiness of the sky before the stars begin to bloom. We need change. And though I do believe Alifaz should remain until we can find a place for them to rest, I do not believe that we should be preventing the cycle.
Holding up the lantern and looking at the faint glowing blue glowing through kind of like fogged up glass in this little sanctuary.
Well, if there ought to be change, if there ought to be a cycle, I shall wish I died before she does. I cannot bear to lose her.
And if you ever had a doubt that you were in the wrong profession, I hope you remember what you just said. I hope you never doubt yourself. Because that passion, that love, that exuberance, that is which we live. We live knowing that our vitality, our life, at some point is going to be expunged. It is about the time that it's about the things that we do in that time. That's what matters. Not how long we have, but what we do with it. And I think your willingness, your drive, that is something I respect about you, Tabuk. Besides the fact that you can tell a liar.
I am really good at that,
I know you are.
which is something I wanted to talk about.
Ah,
Callum, with such a past as he has, and he lied to us. I mean, he changed his name and he's on the run. I don't know how we can trust him.
we can. But that's the best part. Regardless of his intentions, he's here. Some people are in it for the long run, some people are just in it because it is the best option. Or some people just get stuck. Again, it is not the time that we have, it's what we do with it. And I'm sure Callum's skills will come in handy. If he's good at lying, he could probably get us all out of some kind of trouble. And that's without knowing what else he can do.
Well, I hope he can do more than lie. The desert. Oh, I just don't think you can get very far lying in the desert.
No, that's how you get covered in sand.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we should probably be getting back
Yeah.
before we start waking up Elias.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and head back.
I look forward to all of this. I hope you know that. It has been way too long on that beetle's head. Though I do enjoy my time there, it's... not being around it makes it grow fonder.
Yes. I'm excited to see what Olivaz sees in this group.
Well, not a meal, at least.
Yeah. All right.
And Divuk's gonna, I'm assuming we were sitting or something. He's gonna stand up. Swarm's gonna kind of collect itself.
Off we go.
I've exhausted my ability to change, so I will be slow behind you, but I'll be there and I'll just keep wandering.
More time in the desert.
More time to collect sand in all parts of my body that I didn't want it.
It's great.
So,
To each their own, my friend.
as you wrap up that conversation with such a good little button, such a good lights down comment from Davuk, we're gonna go ahead and pan over to Anzi, who didn't see shit, and because of that, suddenly and alarmingly, one might say, Elias, your alarm is gonna go off. And Anzi, it's just like a couple of feet to your left. You just didn't notice at all. So
Just like turn the other direction, fucking oiling her sword or some shit, and just like fuck.
so the sound does it go off in Elias's head or to everybody? Just to be clear.
me read the spell. A mental alarm alerts you with a ping in your mind.
So
If I'm
Elias,
within, if I'm within 1 mile of the warded area, an audible alarm produces
gotcha.
the sound of a handbell for 10 seconds within 60 feet.
So everybody hears it within 60 feet. You can mentally hear it from a mile away. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my confusion.
Also,
That makes
apparently,
sense.
I can make designate creatures not to set off the alarm.
Well,
So, do next time.
that's good, because this is probably something you wanted to designate. But Elias, you hear it, both in your
they're back.
head and you don't think much of it. But Anzi, you know they're not back because you turn suddenly, and you just see a cat, but it's not quite a normal cat.
Kitty.
I'm gonna go ahead and just share the art of Sand Cat. So there's Sand Cat.
Definitely mid-journey.
And
Funky, I love it. It's like pulled straight from the garbage.
yeah, just this strange double layer ear thing going on with this cat. And the alarm goes off, you turn to your left, and despite the very loud ringing, Sandcat is just kind of calmly sitting there looking at you with a slow blink.
I mean, she'll kind of get up a little bit and still kind of kneeling towards it, like just it's a little kitty. She will kind of like put her hand out towards it.
You're not going to actually touch the cat, are you?
Shut up. Yes.
Yeah, the cat's
It is just the cat, and yeah, she'll just reach her hand out like to let it like sniff before she tries to engage with the pats.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
all right. Anzi, roll an animal handling check.
Shit, I don't know if I'm any good at that. Oh. Plus? Okay. It's better than my perception thing, so my perception roll at least. Same modifier, funnily enough. But 17?
17. Okay. So Sandcat, you see the main ear layer kind of scrunch back a little bit, just kind of slowly, curiously peering forward. Just give a bit of a sniff, and then
With her free hand, she'll reach. She has like a little bag that has like just dried jerky that she would use to give Barum as like treats. So she'll pull out a bit of that and offer it to it as well.
Alright, so looks, and it will just kind of and just grab the jerky, and it will just start trotting away very quickly as soon as it grabs the jerky. But what you and Elias both see, though, as it's getting away and disappearing into the darkness once again, it has something wrapped on its tail. It's like a tiny little note or package or something. But before you can do much about it, Sandcat is already headed off. Do you wish to pursue it into the night, or do you wish to stay in the dome?
Anzi will give a quick look to Elias just to see what his vibes are, I suppose, with it. But she'll kind of like indicate that she's ready to go after it. Like she could call Barum and just, chase it down.
As much as I would like to chase the cat into the desert, I'm not actually allowed to leave the bubble, or else the bubble goes away.
Oh, she can go by herself. It'll be fine.
All right.
Yeah, as long as you don't have any qualms with it, then.
Oh, I have so many.
On my tail. Well, that'll be fine.
You're
She'll
going to
whistle.
go by yourself? Callum.
She'll whistle. Get on Barum. She's already gone. Bye.
Huh?
Callum, go
Yeah.
chase after her. She's going after a cat into the desert. Can you please go with her? Please?
Kitty cat.
Okay. And he'll get up and he'll jog.
It's not fast enough.
I'm going to vortex warp him towards her because she's already gone.
Nice.
Yeah, if
doesn't hurt
Auntie
you.
sees that, she could, like, grab Caleb up and just, like, swing him back onto the, back of Byron.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try to vortex warp him onto Baron.
Byron.
I think
Okay.
with an M, yeah, Baron.
Oh, Baron. Okay.
Yep, Baron. So, as soon as those two are gone, Davuk and Harrow return, and the alarm goes off like 4 separate times in your head within a matter of 10 seconds.
He's going to go back to his book and start reading the spell and go.
I can make it so it doesn't do it. Interesting.
Oh, you're still awake.
I am, because a cat came into the alarm and woke me up, and those two went chasing after it.
What?
I tried to stop them, but I cannot leave the bubble.
Mark, can I make like some kind of check to see whether this part of the desert is particularly dangerous or anything that Davuk may know about?
You already familiar with this area. It is your favored terrain, and you're proficient in survival. So, no check necessary. Let me give you the lowdown. This area is obviously very close to the trade routes, since you had just been at Market Day when all of Session 1 happened, where the Zealka Trading Company that Moses Hadid runs goes through a lot. Often known as Camel Stride Road, because it's very doable for solo travelers and small caravans. Therefore, it's pretty typical to see camel mounts kind of making it through the area, and pack camels and such. So this is one of, other than the coast itself, where all those like new age weirdos who don't know the sands live. This is about as safe as it gets.
Okay.
Typically, the farther west you go, the less humanoids have dominated the land, and the more wild shit is out there. And there's a pocket kind of in the middle of the Cartesian expanse where there's almost nothing. It is just like no water, no life. The threat is not any creature, really, as much as it is just the absolute lack of life around you, and how easy it is to lose direction and sense. But yeah, for the most part, this is about as safe as it gets. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is like a hyena,
Okay.
and like you're level 8, you know? So like,
Yeah.
you should be good.
And given Anzi's background, I don't think Davuk would be too worried then.
Yeah. I will also add, because obviously there are bandits in the area, as you know, you just fought them all off as a party last session. But since we are right next to Camel Stride Road, they're mostly thieving bandits, as opposed to the violent sort, just like the hide catchers that you fought. Most of them are not looking to, you know, kill and loot bodies and take prisoners and stuff like that. But you do get that if you go far enough west. There are groups of humanoids and of intelligent beasts and monsters that do that sort of thing. So yeah, all that to say, you kind of know what you're headed into, but not a deal right now.
Gotcha.
I hope no bandits give them trouble. Why are they chasing a cat?
Wouldn't you?
No.
Really?
I mean, no. I don't think so.
Look, we're not playing liar's dice. Tell me the truth.
Okay. There's been a couple times, but
Yeah, I knew it. And he'll just walk and go sit down, and then just.
I do think it had a note on its tail.
Oh, that's curious.
I mean, if you guys want to go after them, you can. I'll be safe here.
I think it might be better for me to rest. I would like to watch some more when they get back.
Alright, I'm going to go to sleep.
Eric,
We can't hear you.
muted.
You're muted.
He just says, well, I would like to rage. And he'll just grab the ale and just drink a little bit more, put it down, close his eyes, and just lay back. That's me raging.
Cool. All right. So everyone is settled in, sure that Anzi and Callum are gonna be fine on their little adventure.
What's up?
So, let's go ahead and get into it. Anzi, Callum, just galloping.
Yeah, we'll go
Sounds
fucking
of it.
dash, moving like 100 feet around. Let's go. It's great.
So, go ahead, Anzi, and make a survival check for me, as Callum is just kind of half awake, bouncing around on the back saddle.
Anzi's like living like she obviously hasn't been like asleep yet, so she's like, you know, not an ounce of tiredness yet, just fucking ready.
All right, dirty 20. Okay.
Give me that
So-
cat knock.
You find tracks, very small impressions. Would have been hard to notice without that 20, but they are just these tiny impressions that the wind hasn't quite swept over yet. And it looks like it's headed into just this small little rock enclave that looks like it is far too small for a human to fit into. But you follow it for a little bit, and it seems like the sand cat could have easily gotten into there. It's kind of the perfect size for a creature that large to get on their belly and crawl into.
Yeah, she'll kind of like, when she gets to the little formation, she'll kind of, obviously kind of skid to a stop, realizing, and, I guess knowing that she won't be able to get in there, there seemed to be, I don't know, is there anything around it that she'd be able to like go around and kind of like circle back in on it?
So there's kind of a sand mound where it is, so it's really hard to tell if there's another entrance to this particular cavern or how far away it would be. But in general, yeah, it's just this little nook. There's a couple of cacti over it.
Okay.
But yeah, and it doesn't look like there's any sort of human intervention in the area. At most, you see like a salamander, a normal one, not the ones that are CR5. But you see like just a little salamander like hanging out on a rock. You see a couple of insects, kind of like arachnids, sort of crawling around in the sand. But yeah, it just looks like a normal spot where a few beasts are taking shelter from the wind.
Yeah, okay. So if it's only small, she'll get off Barim, and once more she'll get out a little bit of jerky, give a bit to Barim first, and then grab the second piece, and go to where the cat went in, and just make the little sound, holding out the jerky, trying to call it out.
Okay.
Cat.
Go ahead and make animal handling again for me.
Give me that cat. Not 20.
Damn. Damn.
I want the cat mark.
Gemma seeing this cat. Alright, so
I'm a simple woman.
you just unveiled a plot twist from session 11. No, I'm kidding. But so you do set it, and you wait a bit as Callum is just kind of still blearily waking up. Barum just kind of just hanging out, and you kind of instinctually realize, despite your excitement, you need to back up. You need to give this time. You gotta let a cat come to you, you know? That's how this works. Just kind of back up. And Callum, I'll say from your perspective, Anzi sets the jerky down, and it's a solid minute or two before anything of note happens. So you're just with her, rubbing eyes, confused and thrown about, wondering why she's just intently standing by this little hole that she placed meat in front of.
It's for a cat.
Had a note on the end of its tail.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is totally a rational reaction to that then.
Well, I figured it came into the area using a cat as a messenger is it's a strange choice as far as I'm aware.
Oh yeah, really weird.
And for it to seemingly have come to where we are, leave here rather than to the direction of a settlement or something. Well, justification aside, I'm just curious to see what it is.
Yeah. Sure, I agree. I'm sorry, don't mistake my tired tone as I'm annoyed or as I think this is a dumb idea. No, honestly, it makes sense to me. I just was woken up, teleported on top of the back of a moving animal, rode around, and then came to a complete halt. I'm not even awake yet, so sure, this makes
You're a
sense
deep
to me.
sleeper, then.
I've been known to sleep through an alarm or two. That's for sure. I don't think that's an understatement.
And right about then, you both notice, just kind of plodding out, will once again bite the jerky. This time, though, instead of quickly scurrying away with the hunt, Sandcat will just look up and notice you again, Anzi, and just kind of slow blink and then just take a little step, slinking. You see the tail kind of as it fits underneath the tiny entrance and comes out. And now it's just kind of standing. Thanks for quoting that. That's, of everything that was said tonight, that was the most meaningful and verbose. But yeah.
So it's out of the hole, yeah?
Yeah, it's out of the hole, and it's kind of just, it doesn't come all the way, but it's just sort of sitting a good 10 feet away. But at this point, you feel like, with that natural 20 that you got, you feel like, you know, you and Sandcat go way back. So you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I will say she'll kind of still be slow on the approach, but she's also gonna, you know, she has a shield, and she's gonna just put the shield in front of where the hole is so it can't just retreat back. And then she will go in for another little pet with Sandcat and do the thing where it's like down the length of the back and then just kind of pull the note off the tail, you know, as if it was still part of that stroking motion.
Right. So you do that, loosens a little bit more, and then the third time it pretty easily just... and you're now holding it. It is basically just a small ribbon. And upon closer inspection, it doesn't seem like a note so much as a scrap of parchment that has been tied into a tiny parcel. And as you take it, it kind of just naturally unfurls without the structure of being at the base of the tail. And you have to catch it. It almost falls into the sand in an instant. And you recognize what it is right away. Not really much mystery to it. You are holding a single potion of greater healing.
What?
That is 4d4 plus 4. So you can go ahead and add that to your inventory. Or whoever wants it when you're back at camp or whatever.
Yeah, I'll just add to mine for now. Yeah, she'll kind of hold it up back to where Caleb is. Maybe not a note so much. Still wonder why such a small thing was carrying it.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Is she still holding the cat?
I sure didn't pick it up. She would have just
yeah,
been
it
in
just
front of it.
Sandcat will still be laying on the ground, just kind of gnawing at the jerky,
Okay.
real calm.
Callum's gonna kind of kneel down towards Sandcat and be like, "Who gave you that, huh?"
Slow blink.
All right, yeah. Wells run dry here. We're not getting any more information from him. I guess we,
I was going to say, you're not the one that can talk to animals, are you?
Do you understand what I'm saying? Nope,
take
nope,
this.
not me. Not me. It's definitely not me. Do you want to come with me? Nope, not that either. Okay, all right. Do we bring people back here then, or do we just kind of chalk up
don't-
our wins and?
I don't know how important the cat will be itself. Whether or not even it would be able to speak too much about where it got it from, where it came from, where it was going, anything like that. But either way, I feel the two of our party that had a chance of being able to speak with it are not here. And so, unless the cat is wanting to come with us, which I feel like it will not, I think we can leave it at here.
Okay, all right. See you later, cat. It was good chasing after you.
Yeah, so Ozzy will like get up and kind of like start to walk away, see what the cat does.
Doing.
Being a cat. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
No urgency.
Okay. She'll give it another little pet. And then just tuck that potion away and get back onto Barim. Wait for Callum this time so he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on back.
Right.
And actually, yeah, when they do get back, I don't know if Elias is still awake or not. I imagine with the alarm he is, unless
The
he's
alarm will
figured
wake
out
him
his
up.
spell.
Yeah.
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 I'm
They'll
just gonna,
get in.
I'm just gonna
Anzi
chalk it up to
will-
he's gonna have to recast it. Too.
Yeah, Anzi will take out the potion and just chuck it at Elias. Got us something at least.
Oh, that is good. Why did you throw it at me?
Oh, proof that it was worth chasing down the cat, and I feel like it would also be good to have in your hands as well.
Well,
AK, take the potion.
think. For the record, I didn't think this was a bad idea. I just could not come.
Oh.
Thank you for going with her, Callum.
Yeah, my skills were vitally important to the operation.
It is good to hear.
Also, fun fact, I cannot talk to animals. Found that out today, but it's a good thing to know that I'm not able to do.
I cannot talk to animals either.
Hey, look at that. You and I, bees in a pod. All right, I'm gonna
They
go back to
usually
bed
wear
now.
peas in the pub. But okay.
And I guess
Alright.
at that moment, he's woken up for second watch.
Well, I don't know how early we are into said watch.
Yeah, so there'd still be a few hours left yet where Callum could at least get a REM cycle in. But yeah, the rest of Anzi's watch will pass without note. The alarm will not go off any more times, which is great for Elias and for everyone, really. And once that time elapses, yes, Callum can be awoken for second watch.
No. Please tell me there's not another animal.
No, but I figure you being the one that has had the most rest up until now, it would be wisest for you to be on the next watch.
Did you forget about the cat thing?
Well, that was only a brief moment. I know Elias
Oh.
was up a lot longer. and was also woken up several times from the alarm. The other two went on a walk. You, on the other hand, were asleep for most of the time we were gone, and also not having to move or walk yourself. And so, again, I do figure that you're in the best of positions to take the next watch.
Yeah, I'll take the next watch.
Anzi would take her water skin, pour it on Callum.
Wasting water in the
Hopefully you
middle
can
of the
wake up a bit
desert.
more.
That doesn't seem like a good idea. But
Well,
okay.
it won't matter if you get us killed from not being in the pack.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Please stay out.
Yeah, no, of course I will.
Can I insight? Oh shit. Okay.
Callum, roll a perception. What's your actually up on the post?
Hell yeah, dude. Perception? Dude, +0. That's a 2.
Wow. Alright, well, you see very slightly more than Anzi. Thankfully, this time, nothing occurs. So, it's kind of just a battle of will. There's nothing to keep Callum's attention. He's never done this before. He's not used to it. He likes his rest. He's having a hard time. But other than that, Callum, other than having some of the most excruciatingly boring several hours of your life, in which you are left to dwell on the strange, strange events of the day that have led you here, and the not much less strange events of the night, as you've been hanging out with this bunch of misfits who were rolling dice and chasing cats. Eventually the sun does come up, and eventually the fire begins to smolder, and eventually the sound of all the nearby animals kind of fades into the day, and we will activate the day image of the Cartesian expanse. So, eventually all of you are up. Callum, looking like he could take a level of exhaustion if somebody pushed him. But for now, he's fine. And as the rest of you get up, after a successful, interesting, and character-driven first night together, you get ready to actually set out on this adventure to find this supposed great burrow. But first, as any of you would know, you need to find some water. You're gonna need to find an oasis. So we will leave that in Davuk's hands when we get back from our 5-minute break.
Woo! Boo-doo-boo-boo. Ooh, waka-kaka. Nice. Wonderful. All right, break time. Ba-na-na-now. back in action. Take it away, Mark.
Boom, bang, bam, snack check, s'mores Pop-Tarts,
Those are good.
cup of water. Anyone else? Anyone think they can top that? Anyone?
Tortilla chips.
Pretty good play. Good move. Anyone else?
I had a trail mix, but also I want to know what's the mystery drink.
Yeah,
Oh.
we gotta have a mystery drink reveal. Sure.
Yeah, Evan, you've been drinking 3 liquids throughout the first half of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably part of the emergency break earlier.
Emergency.
So I just had water. I've had unsweet tea. And I've got the mystery drink, which, I mean, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but
Moonshine?
no.
Oh.
No, it's not.
What? Huh?
Absinthe?
Cannabis?
No. It's like
Cocaine.
NyQuil.
Listen, it is just a huge cup of NyQuil.
NyQuil on ice.
Just robo-tripping just during the session. That's why you get so close to your mic.
I gotta wake myself up for this one naughty call.
Evan ain't who we thought he was. He has lean every night.
Oh, man. That's what's in the grog cup that you got there.
Yeah.
Man.
No, but actually, it's like a pre-made Mai Tai type of thing.
Oh, nice.
It's the only thing I could find, and that was it. So
Well,
Nothing wrong with my
Mystery
ties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
you're over 21, right?
of course,
All
I
right.
actually am. That sounded like
No, I know. And I know that, Evan, because I know you're older than me.
Possibly, maybe.
Oh, man.
Who knows?
For the record, absolutely yes, I am.
I'm not convinced.
No, that's
What's
going
an
on
idea
my
right
bingo
now?
sheet.
All right. Let's get back at it. Good snack check, gang. So,
Can that be a thing? Can we do snack checks?
yeah.
love
That can be a thing. That can be a
What's the
very
mystery
time
drink?
staple, you know?
And yeah,
At least
Awesome.
one person a week. We have who's on summary and who's on mysterious beverage.
I'll do mysterious beverage next week.
Cool.
Okay,
Yeah, it could just
So-
be like the person that did, like, you do summary, and
Yeah.
then next week you do mysterious beverage.
right.
Yeah.
So session 3, John will be on summary and Eric will have a mystery beverage.
Done.
Okay.
That's
And you
great.
don't
There we go.
you don't tell us what it is until after the break. You can't tell
You
us
have
till
like
snack
guesses
check.
come in, you know,
Oh, you
Like,
have guesses?
reveal it, and then guess it.
I feel like I need to do it in a clear glass because that's what added to that whole
Oh.
I'm just gonna
intrigue.
put it in here.
Don't. It's gonna be it's gonna be NyQuil. That's gonna be my
It's
guess
gonna be
every
2
time.
bottles of wine. In this.
Oh god.
Chuck it.
Well, John, what was your drink? Oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Doesn't make it to break.
No.
Man. Okay. Well, now that that's been canonized, let's go ahead and dive back in.
Gotta have a thing.
So, the night passed without trouble. The party got to know each other a little bit better, had some group interactions, playing liar's dice, some one-on-one interactions. We had Davuk and Harrow talking about the cycle of life and death and of nature and how much it should be tampered with. Things that certainly morally apply to the quest at hand of the whole party. And Anzi, dragging along Callum, chased a cat who just sort of showed up, seemed very unbothered, and had something tied on the back of its tail. And that ended up being a greater potion of healing. So, there's that. Hard to know why the cat had it, where it came from. But, hey, a potion of healing, right? That's good. And now, we make it to the morning. camp has been torn down. Everybody is up and at 'em. You had a little bit of breakfast from the rations that the druid provided. These are not like general store rations, like hardtack blocks that you buy for dungeoneering and soldiering in towns. These are druid rations. So it's like a big palm leaf that's tied at the top. And you all open it up, and it's all like your own little like sack lunch. You got
like the bread in Lord of the Rings.
yeah, it's wrapped sort of like the lemnis bread.
Yeah.
But it's like a balanced platter, You've got some little like sprouts and greens. You have some berries, you have a bit of nuts, and you have a small helping of meat, just a little bit of animal protein. Due to the terrain of Cartasia, being a vegetarian druid is a very difficult thing. But, Harrow, you would know that it is highly encouraged that some sort of ritual or prayer of thanks is said before the consumption of any animal, whether or not you were there for the taking of its life, in order to honor that energy has passed from that out of that being's grasp, so that you can continue to do your important work on the material plane. So, y'all unwrap that, start eating, and Davuk, you know that once breakfast is done, you should not have too much trouble finding the nearest oasis. And from there, you can worry about finding the Great Burrow once all of your water skins are refilled, and perhaps even you guys can fill up some extra barrels or jugs or something to take with you, so that you can make it more than a day from oasis to oasis. So, is anybody saying or doing anything as they eat their little leaf wrap breakfast? You can eat the leaf, by the way. That's also it's a little tough, a little leathery. It's definitely a big thick leaf, but that is part of the meal if you so choose.
What is this called again?
Well, Harrow, you would know.
Yes. Fishagon. It's because the fish is gone, and this is all that we have to eat. Fishagon.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yes. Not too sure what they call it in the native tongue.
So, whenever you're ready, Davuk, just go ahead and make a survival check for me with advantage.
Sounds good. Oh, sorry. Roll that again.
Wow. All right. Double 22s.
I don't know which one to pick.
Well, the good thing is there's rules, so you need to pick the 22. So, Davuk, not much trouble. Using the extra guidance of your face, swarm, as well as just general tracking. Most creatures are going to head toward an oasis. So, wherever you see multiple sets of tracks of creatures that would normally be predator and prey headed to the same place, it's probably because they're headed to the neutral grounds for all beasts, drinking water. So, you estimate that it's probably only a few hours away, though it not be visible in the distant horizon as of right now, but that could easily be due to elevation. There's quite a bit of up and down throughout this portion of the desert. So, Davuk knows the way. You're all ready to head off as soon as you would like.
Again, thank you for the camp. Having a nice place to stay makes this journey a lot more easy. I hope we can continue to enjoy that on the way.
That is no problem, and I'm glad that my magic is useful.
I believe it all is, especially when it's used for good.
Honestly, if you don't mind, could I catch a ride with you?
More than welcome to.
Thank you. I am not fond of walking.
Understandable enough. And I suppose as well for you, Harrow, if you don't want to use up too many abilities, you can ride with him and I can walk.
I mean, I do not mind using the abilities that I have, especially if we're able to rest by the water. Would anyone care for a ride? Callum?
No. And I'll explain why. Although you may have shifted into an animal form, it still feels weird because I feel like you'd be giving me a piggyback ride. And that is my logic.
I respect that logic. It is very much like a piggyback ride. But you riding any animal is very much the same thing. I could choose a creature and carry around in my talons.
No, because I did not like that very much the first
you in
time.
my pouch.
That sounds delightful. But for now I'll walk. And if my little itty bitty legs get tired, then maybe I'll reconsider your offer.
Very well.
I'm very sorry that this became such a huge conversation.
Why wouldn't it be a huge conversation? I mean, we are talking about the ethical expansion of travel in which someone feels like they.
Hey, Davuk, is it that way? I think it's that way, right? I'm gonna start walking that way.
You just see Davuk kind of like sniffing, and he kind of is like holding his lantern up, and his Fae are kind of like, if you played Monster Hunter World, it's like the flat.
Yeah.
They're grasping onto things, and he's just kind of following their path in that direction. And he's in his own
Anzi,
space. I didn't hear the question.
Anzi, I will take you up on that offer then.
No worries. So yeah, she'll just then be leading Barim, like holding his little like collar thingy. Yeah, he's well behaved. He'll be fine. He's a good steed.
Harrow will cast Speak with Animals and talk to Barum as they're traveling.
Yes, it's finally happening.
All right. Gemma?
Yeah.
Give me a one-sentence actor's note on what Barum's personality and temperament is like.
Fuck.
I got a crash course. We're both back against the wall. I'm gonna have to.
Well, I think, Barum, in terms of his personality, would be absolutely a talker. I think talks as fast as he, rides and runs.
We kind of border collie energy.
Yeah, border collie energy. That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
So yeah, but still, I imagine he's a bit on the wiser side. I think it'd be funny if he's wiser than Anzi. But yeah, definitely a fast talker.
We talking
have fun.
the normal meaning of wisdom or his wisdom score?
Oh, I mean, I guess kind of both. I feel like
Okay.
the score reflects the wisdom itself, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just, sometimes there's a kind of a Venn diagram where one does not necessarily equal the other with the mental stats in this game. Like Cecily's 18 charisma and her 6 ability to talk to people. But let's go ahead and start moving then. So Davuk, you're in the zone. Anzi just leading Barum. Others of you just kind of walking or hitching a ride, and Harrow, you go ahead and cast the spell, and Barum will just kind of be just humming along until you initiate a conversation.
Barum, my name is Harrow. I will be traveling with you on these great adventures with your companion, Anzi. I felt because you're quite important to this whole task that it might be important to get to know you a bit more. But my first question is, does this feel like a piggyback? Like, am I piggybacking on top of you? Because I'm just curious about it because, I mean, I could turn into a creature and you could ride on top of me like a piggyback if you wish. I can turn into large creatures.
Well, first off, nice to meet you. Very good to be talking to somebody. Second off, no, I'm not a pig. This is meant to happen. It's natural. It's fine. Third, that would be interesting. I've never had a chance to do that. You know, I'm usually the one doing the running around here. How fast can you move if you were to turn into a steed? I mean, could you be even faster? Could I get atop you and blaze across the sands?
I think I will have some time to consider, but have you ever flown before?
No, flying? No, not really. Temporary lapses of air whenever Anzi and I make a very bold jump over a sand dune. But, you know, the sands are often rather gentle, and she has her shield and everything. It's quite fine to fall a small distance out in these parts, you know, especially where the sand is gentler. Honestly, mechanically speaking, guys, this is something I forgot to bring up in session 1 because you all were able to fly and stuff. But that is an actual mechanic. As long as we are in parts of Cartasia where the ground is sand, fall damage is halved. So just keep that in mind as we get into other encounters where there's like really big elevation differences. That like part of the one of the layers of combat or exploration is going to be like deciding if it's worth the risk to just like plummet, you know, a bunch of feet down into the sand and whatever and tank the damage, because it is only going to be halved. So no, not quite.
Well, once we get to where we're going, I will consider what options I have. Do not want to take up too much conversation on this, but yes.
Oh, well, you can take up as much as you'd like. You know, I don't get a chance to talk to people too much. I mean, there is the sort of intuitive, known speaking shared between humanoids and beasts. You know, the things that can be done without the necessary, the need of words, if you will. By the way, Harrow, how does this spell or feature of yours work? Can other people understand just you, or does nobody know what's going on?
I think in the manner of speak with animals, I don't think anyone knows what I'm saying. But let me pull it up.
Gotcha.
But he would just be waxing poetic with...
Yeah, I just wanted to know for future reference if it was like a Rocket and Groot situation, or if it's a Groot and Groot situation.
That's a good way to put it.
Thank you. I thought so.
I think it might be also up to interpretation.
Yeah, including whatever they can perceive and have perceived, yada yada. It does not specify.
Okay. We'll go ahead with...
I gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beast for the duration. So I don't think anyone would understand the two of us.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, you're both just making Barum noises, which I'm not quite sure what those are. But...
Sound like those lizards from Star Wars that Obi-Wan rides down into that... Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's Whoop.
Gotta be like a mixture between like a dog and a camel, you know?
Yeah.
Whoop is
Like-
back.
Yep. Yep, okay.
Just
Awesome.
fucking... Harold's
will.
just going, "Arrgh!"
Yeah.
No, just ooh. That's what they sound like.
Just
Oh,
on
God.
this beast.
Elias is just sitting there like,
Oh,
what's going
man.
on?
Deep intellectual conversations, my friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, he'll be waxing poetic with Barum until they get there.
Okay, cool. So, as I said, it only takes a small amount of time to actually get to the oasis itself. You all just are taking in the sights as you're going, seeing, for some of you, the true openness of this part of the world for the first time. There's everything and nothing to look at as you're going by. There's nothing to pinpoint your focus onto, so your eyes just sort of pull back and take in the whole image. It's grand, if not a little bit threatening. Finally, though, you do crest a certain hill, and you are able to see the oasis itself. Not anything too flashy, but you do see a few reeds of tall grass in what appears to be a very tiny wetland among this area. You see a couple of trees that are doing okay, kind of scraggly and have some dying branches, but are hanging on nonetheless. And there is a small pool of water that is there that rises above the sand. Does not look like much, but Davuk and Harrow as well, and honestly all of you, would know. The water itself does not just sit above the sand, it does continue quite a ways down. It's just once you get above that surface layer, past that surface layer, you need to start like sifting through wet sand, and that's not as fun. Nobody wants to suck on sand. But you all get to the oasis after just a few more minutes from that. You all arrive, able to rest for a bit, and you hear somewhere else in the small oasis, perhaps obscured by a few branches, you hear somebody humming, and a few small splashes as they seem to be washing up. Just and not in a threatening way, and it doesn't seem to be somebody that's going to notice you right away, but that is there as all of you are filling your water skins, your tanks and jugs, and doing whatever little washing up you would like to do while you have it.
You all hear that?
I do.
Hear what?
I'll investigate.
Okay.
All right.
So Devuk will fill up his things, which he's probably pretty efficient at doing. And while his swarm's kind of going around, because they like Oasis, you know, he's going to go check out what's going on.
Okay. So you go to check out what's going on, and you just see a man. And he seems to kind of be in his own world, but as you step over, he seems to finally kind of sense the presence and sort of, hello? Definitely taken aback. And Davuk, as you take him in, this is a older dwarven man. Skin very aged, with sun. You see a very long, bushy beard on him, and a very well-kept mustache. So well-kept that it implies that he either is obsessive about it or hasn't been out in the roughest parts of the desert. More interestingly, he appears alone, which, even in this part of the desert, for somebody who's not used to this, is kind of dangerous. But for now, he just seems kind of shocked at your presence. And he flicks some water off of his hands, runs it through his long beard a little bit. Just, another traveler come to get water, are you?
Yes.
And as Devuk is kind of talking, he's kind of looking around to see if there's anyone else in his group, because it's kind of weird.
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception. Alright. Okay. You are fairly confident that at least for a far distance, there is nobody that is with him.
Are you alone? Do you need any help? I don't know if there's an oasis anywhere close to here.
That's quite alright. I'm actually just headed back to the city of Bakir, where I have lodging. It's only a few hours down the path from here. I'm sure I can make it. And yes, Bakir is a place in the area.
Is it that far away, though?
Yeah, it's not super far. It's definitely a smaller, kind of modern trade city. That's sort of along the Camel Stride. Yeah, so still a little odd that he's alone. Definitely not the safest call on his part, but you know, he's not far from a keep where he would be protected.
You know, you should really travel with a group in this desert. It's quite harsh, as you probably know already. And you don't know who you might come across.
Believe me, sir, I do know. I steer clear of the West. I'm simply a scholar right now, looking to bring some of my findings back into the city and bring them back home.
A scholar?
Mark, does it seem like this guy has anything like scholarly or noteworthy on him?
So would you guys be catching up behind Devuk at this point? After he's been gone for, 45 seconds, a minute or something around there?
Yeah, I think Callum, if nothing else, just out of curiosity.
Okay. So upon looking at him, yes, he does have just sort of these satchels that seem like they're full of parchments along his side, long tubes where it looks like there might be maps. He has a couple small bags of gemstones and such. The only thing that's kind of suspicious about him is his fear reaction upon seeing Devuk. But other than that, it does all seem to add up.
Hey, hi, name's Callum Vazar. It's wonderful to meet you. My friend Devuk here, he can be a little abrasive upon first interaction, but it comes from a place of love, isn't that right, Devuk? You just want to make sure that he gets somewhere safe, right?
Right. And that no liars take advantage of him.
Yeah, that would be absolutely horrible, wouldn't it? So,
Yes.
we just want to make sure that you get to where you're going safely. If you need some water, there's an oasis right here. We're all good, though. Okay?
Well, then, Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I understand the need for caution. He'll kind of get up and brush himself off. Perhaps a bit of introduction is due now that we've met rather informally. Would you care if I saw the rest of your group? Perhaps ask some questions. You seem to be locals, do you not?
Hold on. Can we paint the scene a little bit more? Can he obviously see our group at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we kinda have a scholar in our group. You might get along with him very well. What do you think, Callum?
Yeah, sure. Please, after me. Go ahead.
Alright, so the older dwarf man will go ahead and follow the two of you and just kind of approach the rest of the group at that point.
I would like to if I could. So you said that he has some like loose like parchment that are kind of like down, or some like tubes of parchment that are sticking out of his backpack.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I want to have happen, right? Pretty much I want Callum to use Mage Hand, because he's an arcane trickster, to pretty much, let me go ahead and read this. Mage Hand Ledgerman. So when you cast Mage Hand, you can make the spectral hand invisible, stow, retrieve objects, use thieves' tools, pick locks, disarm tracks. You can disguise this with a sleight of hand check. So what I want to do is I pretty much want to use the Mage Hand. What Joe wants to do, use the Mage Hand to like pull something out just to make sure that like this guy's telling the truth. And that he actually is a scholar. These just aren't like fake parchments and this is just a costume. But what I want it to look like, the Mage Hand is invisible. I want it to just look like something falls off and Callum notices that it fell off. Not necessarily that he is the one who was like, yes, Mage Hand. Bloop.
Right, so just as he's adjusting his pack, something falls.
Correct.
But it's actually you being like, is there real arithmetic on here?
Yeah.
7 plus 3 is not 11. You're a fraud. So, yeah, go ahead and roll sleight of hand for that.
Sleight of hand. All right. Come on, buddy. I'm good at these. That's going to be a 24.
Okay. Well beyond this man's passive perception. So, as planned, it kind of unfurls a bit and just falls out, and he just, excuse me, and he goes to bend and pick it up. But in that second it's in the air, you do see it. There is a sketch with kind of proportions and almost like engineering type kind of guidelines and everything. A sketch of a great beetle. It appears to be one of the red ones, the Zealkama. And there is a writing on the side in Dwarvish, kind of just breaking a few things down.
So, you're studying them then? Is that the case?
Yes, I am. I'm continuing the study of one of our most accomplished professors in the past century. And at this point, he'd be with the rest of the group. Why, hello, everyone. Did not expect to be meeting anyone here. I'm a little surprised, but I will go ahead and introduce myself. I am a dwarf, originally from the world's crown, by blood, was made my way all the way to Thoral. My name is Tartrick Jade, and he will go ahead and stick out his hand for a handshake, and I will share the character art of him now.
Oh.
Okay, he's cute. Can't be that bad.
I can see who this is modeled after.
And Davuk, see if he's lying.
Go and roll an insight check. $13. Pretty confident, no. He just seems nervous. He just was not expecting somebody to show up and to vaguely tell him you ought to be in a group so no one sneaks up on you. He just is kind of like a little shaken at the moment.
Hope you
All
muted
right.
yourself, Mark.
What's up?
You muted yourself for a minute.
Oh, my bad. I don't know what happened. The point is, no, you think he's telling the truth. He just seems quite nervous at the entire situation.
All right.
Not expecting to interact with anyone in this way or kind of be caught alone.
So I'm assuming Davu kind of saw this, heard everything that was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're getting closer to the group, Davu will be like,
Elias, look, a scholar. What are the odds?
Thank you, Tifu. It is good to meet you. My name is Elias. I'm not sure if he told you that I am too a scholar. What was your name again?
Tartrick. It's
What?
a name that probably sounds a little strange in this part of the world, along with the way that the common tongue seems to come out of my mouth. You all talk quite differently than me, but yes, Tartrick Jade. I am in fact not primarily here for gems, though, despite my quirky last name. No, I am actually here from the University of History and Artifacts, located in the city of Port Lemnos in Thurol. I am continuing the work of a professor, accomplished gnome man who studied the great beetles and brought that knowledge over to the east. His name was Veli Pembernil. While he was studying the beetles, he also noticed quite a few things about the archaeology of the area, many buried secrets. He described it as a treasure hunter's dream. That is, if the kind of treasure you like is not the things with monetary value, but the things that have historical value. Anyway, we in the college at Thurol have spent quite a bit of time figuring out how to ethically survey these lands without digging up the entirety of the desert and disrupting the land of these great creatures. I am sent as part of a continuation of that work.
That is very noble of you, and I believe that is a very great cause. I am not as well accomplished. I am from a city close to here. I study arcane. I know a little bit of the land if you need assist, of course.
Well, as far as the land goes, he kind of takes a glance at the whole group. You seem like the kind that can handle what lies in the west. I've been warned to stay away from that part of the desert, and I plan on listening. But as far as the trade routes go here, and some of the interesting tribes and creatures that you can meet right on the borders, I have had my fair share of interactions. I've managed to get by primarily on negotiations so far, and previous knowledge from other scholars. Oh, and the reason I am alone is rather boring, to be honest with you, but I figure I should clear it up. Due to contractual reasons at the University of Thurol, it being a republic with layers of bureaucracy and such, I am only entitled to working a certain amount of days on the clock, they call it, for the university. But I've gotten so bored up here the past few months, I've been surveying the land myself without my usual crew. There's a group of 7 more of them in the city of Bakir. I am normally traveling with them and entirely safe.
Well, I do understand wanting to continue our research even though it is not time to do so. However, I would very much caution about traveling around here by yourself, especially if you have an entourage that can come with you. I would probably go back to the city if you're well for it.
That is the current plan. I should be able to make it there with no trouble before the sun goes down again. But all of you, it seems you are actually headed out into the west. Just so I may document this in case it comes up later. What is it exactly you're seeking?
I believe this is one of the things that should not be documented. This is official business of the city.
I see.
Hmm.
You can go right ahead and not answer this if you don't want, but it sounds like you are people that live atop a Shaka Yilde, a great black beetle. Is that right?
Yes, we are. We are from the city of Jamila.
Ah, that is the one that resides on Ali Faz. Veli
is
spent
correct.
some time there in his original studies.
I believe I've read some of his studies, yes.
Well, in that case, I know the respect that the culture has for communion with the Shaka Yilde and not overstepping the bounds of that sacred bond and promise. I will not intrude on your mission, but knowing of its importance, if there is any help we can offer each other before we part ways, information of the sort. I take it the 5 of you have not been on the land on foot in quite some time, at least not in a significant distance away from your beloved city.
I cannot speak for the rest of my group, but some of us, no, we have not left the city ever.
Well, welcome to the land. It's very sandy.
I do have a question, if you could answer for us. We are looking for a specific area of...
Question for the DM.
Yep. Let me break out of my bad Icelandic accent real quick. Yeah.
We were given the actual name of the cavern, the cave where nobody is supposed to be, the Thrycreen.
Yeah. You're supposed to seek out the Great Burrow.
Ah, okay, there we go. Oh, it's right here in my notes. I just had to look further down.
We are seeking something called the Great Burrow. It is a place known to a house where they're called the Thrycreen. Do you know where this could be?
I have not been myself, but I've read about it in Veli's notes. The Great Burrow is actually not a path made by us people. It is a large tunnel path originally created by multiple of the Emir Barat, the name that we found for the brown burying beetles. The great brown beetles and the Thrycreen are often quite friendly with one another. The Thrycreen prefer to live in the colonies underground. They create small tunnels themselves. The burrowing beetles create very large ones, ones that are almost the size of ravines, depending on the size of the beetle. Occasionally, as sort of highways, a great purple worm will also cut through the area and create a pathway. The Great Burrow, back in Veli's time, was occupied by humanoid traders. There were also expanses out there where gems were mined. But it seems after resources were depleted, and there was less of a humanoid presence in the area, Thrycreen began to overtake the land again. Now, gem mining is mostly performed elsewhere, and the Great Burrow is relatively untamed.
And how far do you think it is from here?
I don't know. What I know you can do is find an old gem trail and follow it west.
Do you know where any of those are?
That is about where my knowledge ends. But perhaps they won't be too hard to find. I believe if you just continue to follow the setting sun, you should eventually come across one. By the way, it is worth picking up some gems or two, if any are left in the abandoned mines. Thrycreen communicate much differently than us. Presenting an offering of some sort of gemstone should smooth things over. Get your foot in the door.
That is very good knowledge. I appreciate that. Well,
And Elias looks to the party.
any other questions?
I have none. It's good that you were able to find rest, and I wish you the best on your journeys. Hopefully we will see each other again.
Yes.
Perhaps we will.
What was this guy's name one more time?
Tartrick. I'll go ahead and,
Tartrick?
yeah, I'll type it in the chat. I don't know if it shared when I shared the image. But yeah, that's his name there.
Oh, Tartaric. It was a pleasure meeting you. We are only stopping here so we can refresh and continuing on our journey. If it is possible. If you could. Forget that you ever saw us. It's probably best this way.
Very well. I wouldn't want to mess with a bunch such as this, especially if you're on sacred business. I won't tell my group.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Now, if we've returned from our journey, I would definitely like to contact you at some point.
Of course.
Well,
Well,
you have a good day.
yes, off you go then.
Stay safe.
Hopefully you can find some cover before the sun sets. And he'll go ahead and nod and kind of bunches things together, nod to everybody, and yeah, he'll go ahead and start heading off unless anybody stops him for anything else.
What a nice guy.
He's very nice. I enjoyed him. He was very straightforward. Everyone is okay with me telling him not to talk about us? I assumed.
I think that was a good idea.
Agreed. I think the less that people are aware of what our business is, the less that may try to interfere with it, especially trying to prevent it, as it seems people are interested in seeing Alifar's, well, divided parts.
I do wonder if I should have mentioned Moza.
I think it is best that we do not. It seems like an individual that seems to always know when his name is mentioned. The less people's tongue that we have that person's name on, the less it can come back around to us.
Agree.
This person seemed kind. I don't want them mixed in with Mosa.
Well, I believe we should probably get our fill of water and relaxation before we continue on our journey, no?
I agree. We have a lead. It seems like the gems are a good place to start.
Yes, we must follow the setting sun. Hopefully we find gems. Shouldn't be too hard, right? Gems in a desert?
Feel like I should say something about needles and haystacks.
You did also hear him about the great purple worm, right?
Yes, massive creatures have lived through these lands for quite a while. All sorts of things. But if the bandits and the looters and the beetles can survive the great worm, then I'm sure we can as well. And if anything, the great worm will have a nice little ringing of bells song as it devours our camp.
Well, we would be technically protected inside of the bubble if it did that.
Inside of the worm.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then if that heart, I believe you called it, is devoured? Would we stay within the stomach of the thing?
We would stay inside of the stomach for about 8 hours until the spell wears off, and then we would start to be devoured by the acids inside of the worm inside.
Unless we can cut ourselves out.
Or teleport.
It's 8 hours to
You
finish.
could. Sorry.
No, no, Davuk, please. I want to
No, I
humor
want to hear
this. Yes, please.
All right.
I know what Devork has to say.
Hear me out. You could turn back time to before we were devoured, so that. Hey, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
I know what you're trying to say. I cannot hone that power yet, no. I could
Well,
not turn back the time.
You would have
Look
8
at that.
hours to understand all of time travel and do that.
yes.
So I think Davuk has a good point.
Yes, I would have 8 hours to figure out how to turn back time for 5 individuals.
I'm really sorry to do this, but what?
Let's just keep moving forward.
We got swallowed by a purple worm, hypothetically.
Is
Time
that-
travel
is that
can
the
be
goal?
A third option.
No.
If teleport and otherwise erupting from the worm.
Okay,
doesn't
okay.
Succeed.
Be a great story, though, Callum.
Yes, but what is great stories if we are not alive to tell them? We're looking for gems, right? That's what we're doing?
Yes.
You really like to stay on point, don't you, Callum?
I have a job to get done, and I want to get it done. Sooner I get done, the sooner we can go back. Because this place is weird.
Fair one.
Mark, would Davuk know of any gems in the area? Or would any of this information resonate with him?
Davuk, roll a history check.
Oh no.
Smart boy, come on. I believe in you.
Hey. West. Particularly, you do remember there being a particular gem vein that was just a little bit to the southwest. You remember there occasionally being trouble in sort of your domain kind of around the beetle from years past whenever you get near that area, because people that were in the trenches are kind of obscured from large creatures of the land and sky. They're a lot harder to spot. And sometimes you would have to like spot people that were working in those gem mines before Alifaz fucking stepped on them. So you remember that. Hopefully, if that area is still there, it sounds like according to Tartrix info that a lot of that area might be abandoned at this rate.
Okay.
But the area itself, that'd be your best guess at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so, from where we are to that location, southwest from where we are, is there any kind of terrain issues or anything that Devuk may assume might cause us trouble along the way?
Well, you would be starting to approach the area where creatures get a little more bold and
West.
confident. Yeah, so you'd be getting to that spot where, you know, but terrain-wise, no, not necessarily. You just know that there's a chance that if other nomads, nomadic species and tribes are kind of like in the area, then that could definitely cause a concern.
Gotcha.
All right. Yes, we should keep going. I know of a place. Southwest. There are gems. I've seen it years ago, but I think it would be a good direction, but we may run into trouble. So, it's best to be prepared.
Okay.
Understood.
All right. So, you all can start heading off that way. Shouldn't be too long of a march. It should take you into the late afternoon or early evening when the sun is still high in the sky. As you guys are walking, I did just get a message from Eric that you're going to need to pop off a little bit early, which is totally cool. Things happen, whatever. And then also, John just popped out because his baby is awake. So, if we want to take kind of a just sort of half break right here, just kind of let John get back if he does, because if John is, you know, going to be occupied with getting his kid to fall back asleep for like the next 15-20 minutes, I don't really want to press on with just 3 out of 5 people here. So yeah. But okay, so we can just go ahead and take like a little mini extra break here real quick. If that's all cool.
Sounds good.
Sounds perfect.
So, hey there, everybody. I'm very sorry that the overlay is messed up. That you can see Mark, John, and Evan kind of okay. I am cut in half. I'm in a Portal game right now. Because Eric is gone and John's baby. I don't know.
Why did you take a pause?
Because all I could think about was how often I say, I would like to see the baby. And so I said,
Wow. It sounded like you were cutting a clip of something else.
I have a soundboard. Baby. Bella has been a little rambunctious and having a hard time sleeping, so John's having to go back and forth a lot. So, as a group, we decided we're going to make the executive decision to end here a little bit early, and that way we can pick up next week when Eric is able to be here for whatever thing is going to happen after this point. Also, that way, I'm only a little happy about that because I don't have to fix the overlay twice, and you know what? That's pretty cool.
Oh, you could just see my lips.
Yeah,
or the bottom half on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to tune in on Tuesday for the adventures of the. I feel like I'm drowning. For the adventures of the Salamander Coast.
Just swim up, Joe.
Okay. Or Wednesday for Everend. Or
yeah, spicy stuff coming.
Not Saturday. There will be no Isles this Saturday because Kayla and I are going to be doing stuff for Valentine's Day. So yeah, or next Sunday for the very time. I'm sorry, this is disorienting. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you later.